I mean, what did Russia do in the short term to deserve a destabilization and an attempt to take its gas lines into Europe? Why shouldn't they be able to have a gas pipeline into South Korea?
Honestly, it had nothing to do with their gas lines as much as it had to do with the fact that Putin has been a kleptocrat for so long that he's been ruining the Russian economy. This came out of the Russians themselves. When he created the Sochi Olympic, he spent over $50 billion. He wasted out the internal reserves, and then there was a flight of capital. The issue of Crimea is a false issue. The real issue that came in was the issue that he's destroying the country. And like basically Yeltsin and Gorbachev, he's a very weak leader. Although he looks tough, he looks very effective, and he looks macho. He, in effect, was a very weak leader for Russia. What America needs is a strong technocratic leader in Russia that can actually create trade and can work in the international system. The point of fact here is not that we started it. Miss Merkel, who was the head of Germany, who knew him very well, basically said this cannot continue the way he's been acting as a kleptocrat, destroying the Russian economy, and the Russian people are now suffering. It was not a result of what we initiated. The effect of what we did in psychological warfare and economic warfare was a complete result of what Putin did to his own people. The Russians are great. They had nothing to do with it. This was directed to Putin, initiated by EU, and then followed by the United States.
So are you saying that the West is putting Putin out of his misery and that he was already killing the country?
Yes, yes. That's exactly what we did with Yeltsin. That's what we did with Gorbachev. Now we're doing with Putin. What Russia needs is a clean minister who can run the country without any problems with kleptocracy and raping their own country. That's basically what we're doing. There's a man named Gordon there who's a prime minister, who was a financial minister. He said it himself. Russia was destroyed by Putin. We only helped it. But never doubt our ability to run a psychological warfare, economic warfare, when somebody comes in with tanks that are antiquated, airplanes that are antiquated, or threatens any of our partners in the EU. This is the formidable part of America, and the fact that we can do something without even having to show our guns. Basically, we do it because we're very sophisticated. We've done it 20 years ago in economic warfare. We will do it again. It's not the imperialism of a British country. It's really the effectiveness of an international system that says we can no longer afford the kleptocracy that exists in one country in order to destroy it so that we can have the distorted trade. What we need is a fair trade system, even with Russia. It's for the Russians.
Yeah, but I mean, saying Russia's kleptocratic is the pot calling the kettle black. I mean, look how kleptocratic our elites are.
Well, I don't say our big corporations are not kleptocratic. Believe me, I'm not a theologian here, but it turns out that, in fact, we have a far more resilient system that works not so much at the elite level as it does on the local and the community level.
Speaking of that, I want to shift gears. I want to shift gears and look at PSYOPs. I'm not a PSYOPs expert like you, but I'm not a doctor of psychiatry either, but I can look at MSNBC, CNN, the White House, trying to stir up black-on-white crime, trying to create race riots, trying to say the police are the cause of all our problems. They certainly have been turned into paramilitary units, but why is the establisher, or maybe you disagree, trying to stir up civil unrest? I see it as more divide and conquer.
Well, I don't know if it's divide and conquer. I don't think the president's been a very effective leader internally in terms of articulating any position. The fact that he's black aggravates the situation. He knows that. Eric Holder is left. These are not two African Americans or blacks who came out of America. These are guys who were born other countries and came out of either the Caribbean, as Eric Holder did, and Obama, wherever else he came out of Kenya. The issue at hand here has to do with underlying simmering problems between the black community, which still has to get its act together without responding to agitators like Sharpton or Jesse Jackson, and the fact that you can even give credence to CNN, MSNBC, or any of the others is a joke, quite frankly, Alex, because we don't even have it anymore.
No, I know, but they are they have a small audience, and it's their viewers.
CNN, they've knocked out Fox News. You're the only news I listen to, Alex.
Well, what I'm saying is the remnant of the Democratic Party wants to run everything on racial division to change the subject from economics, and they're clearly doing it. I wanted to get your view on it, because they're trying to push a narrative that's going to trigger a bunch of cop killing. Now, I know the system's pushing it. Why do you think they're pushing it?
Well, the problem that they're pushing, they may be desperate in looking at the various issues because they have no other issue to look at, but it's a very dangerous issue to look at cop killing and go against policemen on the local level. De Blasio understands this, but I didn't vote for De Blasio, and certainly I know people in New York who didn't vote for him. Again, we voted for people who are not qualified to manage major systems. As long as the Democrat or Republicans want to put forth candidates who are not capable of managing complex systems, this is what will happen. They will go to the lowest level of prejudice and the lowest level of propaganda and promulgate it, because that's all they know how to do.
That's right. It's a dumbing down to just mindless idiocy.
Correct. And that's what de Blasio's doing. He has no idea how to run a complicated city like New York. He's not qualified like Bloomberg. He wasn't effective as Giuliani. It's not a question of whether you're Republican or Democrat. It's a question of, did you do what Alex Jones did? Build a business, build it up.
Stay right there. Final segment. Stay with us.
This hour of GCN programming is proudly sponsored by BlockitPocket.com. Protect your privacy and data and render your phone or device completely undetectable. Go under the radar when your phone's not in use with BlockitPocket.com.
Hi, Ted Anderson with Midas Resources. Is it time to convert paper 401ks and IRAs to solid gold and silver yet? Get our 10 Reasons book free. Call 800-686-2237. That's 800-686-2237.
Hey, Boomer! I learned in school today that 60% of our bodies are made of water. Good thing we have the Berkey system. It's the cleanest, best water ever. Mom says it's because the Berkey's filtration system cleans out the bad stuff and leaves only pure, delicious water. I know, right? You love it too. Yeah, I'm thirsty too. Let's go get some. Get Berkey Clean Water by calling 877-886-3653. That's 877-886-3653. Or visit GoBerkey.com.
2015 is almost here, and with it comes those New Year's resolutions to finally transform your body the way you want it. There's a reason over 88% of New Year's resolutions fail. Make this year different by equipping yourself with Oxy Powder, the next level in cleansing the body naturally. Using super oxygenation, Oxy Powder, available through InfoWarsLife.com, gently cleanses the body while you sleep with easy capsules. Tens of thousands of individuals have used Oxy Powder to cleanse their bodies and aid in their transformations. Even InfoWars Nightly News Director Rob Dew has been using Oxy Powder with incredible success.
Took it that first day, then I took it for 6 more days after that. 12 pounds melted off in about a week. I'd say a week, 7 days.
2015 can be different. Diet and exercise are important, but a lot of us have already tried that. Oxy Powder flushes it out. Secure your Oxy Powder at InfoWarsLife.com. That's InfoWarsLife.com or 888-253-3139.
We've had an amazing year here at Supernatural Silver. We've truly enjoyed the fantastic response from thousands of people as they've tried our extraordinary product, and we're thrilled at the life-changing results people have. Our company email is continually full of happy, satisfied customers who thank us for the help they've received from Supernatural Silver. This holiday season, as you think of gifts to give your loved ones, consider giving Supernatural Silver, a gift that can help provide good health and wellness, a gift that can change lives and make a real difference. In a world where we are constantly exposed to dangerous health threats, give yourself and your loved ones a fighting chance. Give Supernatural Silver. Go to supernaturalsilver.com and use the promo code HOLIDAY2014 for 30% off. And this holiday season, we wish you and yours the blessings of peace and good health from all of us here at supernaturalsilver.com.
Final segment for the main broadcast. I'm going to go to some overdrive to talk to Cindy and Terry and Nelson, the folks that have been holding the longest. I'm Alex Jones, your host. If you just tuned in, Steve Pieczenik is our guest. Comes on every few months. Always has interesting points and background. StevePieczenik.com is his website. Okay, Doc, so we covered a lot of different issues today. Interesting perspective. I do monitor what I'd call dinosaur media, and I mean, that's all they've got, because big government, socialism, collectivism didn't deliver, so now it's just class warfare. I just it's sick to watch big crony capitalists like George Soros and the big foundations full tilt funding racial division and infighting. But I guess that's what they need to do to keep us from ever identifying them. What is your brief prognosis for the new year, the economy, and what's coming?
I think my prognosis is very good. Number one, our economy is going to be growing very quickly as the oil price is going down to probably $40 a barrel. Number two, we're growing at a very fast rate, 3 to 5% per year. Small businesses are increasing capacity. Local government is becoming more and more effective as opposed to national government. We are going to stop going into other wars. We're going to start ceasing the war. We're going to have a Iran détente, and probably Palestine will be recognized. That's a far stretch, but I would say that's where it's going to go. We're going to realign the Middle East, and I think America will remain the superpower for quite another 5 to 10 years without any effort and without use of military force.
What about
So I'm very
China?
optimistic.
What about other hotspots?
China has to work with us because Americans have to understand one thing. Every renminbi or every yuan that the Chinese have is calibrated against the dollar. So they can have as many renminbi as they can, but it really is against the dollar. China is now in a real state of economic problems. I don't wish it to collapse, but President Xi, Xi, has now gotten rid of a lot of the kleptocrats, just like he did of Putin. He could have gotten rid of Putin. He's getting rid of all of the corruption within the military, within the Communist Party, and he's trying to regionalize the growth areas so they can grow. But unfortunately, China cannot grow as effectively as the United States. It will not be a dominant power. Even though its economy is larger than ours, our per capita income is very low compared to ours. Whereas in the 20 to 30,000, theirs is in a couple of thousand. So there's no comparison between China and the United States. China will always work with us or against us, but for the most part, China is not a threat.
What about their threats to go in and grab Philippine or Japanese islands?
It's only a threat. Basically, we've had the Spratly Island issues, which I've written about 20, 30 years ago, but basically we act as the intercessor. Our sink back, our Navy is very effective. Without our Navy, China cannot go through the Straits of Malacca or into the seas and the Pacific Ocean without our protection. So China needs us to protect their shipping. We protect 98% of their shipping.
What do you make of China starting military action against Vietnam?
Well, they can start it, but they have to remember they were twice beaten by Vietnam, and that's quite dangerous. Chinese know the Vietnamese have beaten them twice. It's not a good beginning for the Chinese. They're not going to continue with that. China has a bigger internal problem than it has external problems. And Xi is a very ruthless leader, and he will keep China controlled, but it has to be controlled. Within 1 year, you have 175,000 riots that have to do with corruption. Corruption, not communism.
And we're seeing attacks on police and government when they're seen as not delivering justice. As you said, over 100,000 riots a year. I think if we see more government corruption here, we're going to see that phenomenon expanding.
Well, the United States is interesting. We are a very quiet people, but basically if it pushes too far, we do have the Second Amendment, and it's always there. We don't need to use it right now. But
I agree with you. We need to, whoever holds their fire to the end wins in this fight. Dr. Pieczenik, thank you. I'm Alex Jones, Infowars.com. We'll be back tomorrow live. I'm going to do some overdrive. Infowars.com/show.
Communications Radio Network.
From the water table to our soils to the atmosphere itself, our world is becoming more and more toxic each and every day. But it's not just the air outside that's toxic. Indoor air has been shown to have 2 to 5 times higher concentrations of pollutants than even outdoor air. And most Americans spend 90% of their time inside using toxic chemicals within their homes. There are more than 42 million smokers in the United States. Well over 1,000 types of mold and mildew linked to numerous conditions. And don't forget the fact that 6 million Americans live with pets pets they're allergic to as well. When I began to research these statistics, it was clear to me it was time to start cleansing my lungs in order to combat the toxic environment that we cannot escape, but that we can fight back against. Made with organic and wild cultivated herbs and manufactured in the USA, the new InfoWars Life Lung Cleanse is here in a convenient spray bottle that can be brought with you throughout any toxic environment. Now available exclusively at InfoWarsLife.com or by calling toll-free 888-253-3139.